I've been to 1 or 2 distilleries, but mostly just for the free shots at the end. I'm enjoying myself.
Welcome back to Oak and Age. My name is Alan, and today, doing something a little bit different, I have a friend here. Much to the relief of my concerned friends and family, I'm not going to be drinking alone. This is Ian, aka Mo.
Mo.
We won't get into why we call you Mo.
No.
That's a story for another time. Where are you from?
I'm from Scotland.
Scotland. That's why he sounds funny when he talks. Not a speech impediment. It's just the way he is.
I try and tone it down a little bit.
Go full bore. Mo came all the way across the pond just to be on Oak and Age.
Yeah, that's true. I was just sat at home, and then I got that phone call. YouTube called me, and they said you have to come over, and I was like, yep, get me on that flight.
So thank you. We definitely appreciate it.
You're welcome, man.
I know you gotta go right home after this, and the literally only reason you're here in Canada is to record with me.
That's it, yeah. So, yeah, pleased to be here.
Yeah. So, Scotland has a pretty rich whiskey heritage. Some of the best whiskeys in the world are actually from there.
I think, actually, you're speaking about out of turn there. All the best whiskies in the world come from there. But I have to say, actually, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit this, I'm not really an experienced whiskey drinker. I'm new to the game. I'm new to the whiskey world, so it's exciting for me because I think that you're much better at whiskey than I am, so hopefully you can teach me something.
Well, we are here to basically just feed you some whiskey, but Canadian whiskey in particular. I'm really curious to know what a true Scotsman thinks of the some of the whiskey that my country, the True North Strong and Free, has to offer. So here's the plan. I'm going to pour you a bunch of Canadian whiskeys from my own collection. I'm going to tell you nothing about them.
Okay.
On the screen, I'll display what they are, maybe a little bit of information about them, but you're not going to know that until after you've tried it. And then I want you to tell me exactly how you feel. If you like it, tell me what you like about it. If you hate it, feel free to tell me why.
Lather me up, baby. I'll use.
Mo's a subscriber. He knows the theme song.
Yeah.
You should subscribe too if you haven't. Be like Mo. Subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. So this is our first whiskey on the screen. The viewers at home are going to see it. I'm going to have a little bit with you here.
I'm very curious, actually, as to the differences between Canadian whiskey and Scotch.
Well, if you'll allow me to humor you, I'll tell you. Scotch, generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, is made using malted barley.
Okay.
Sometimes there are other grains in there if you have like a single grain Scotch, but by and large, Scotch is barley. In Canada, we have fewer rules and regulations around how we can make our whiskeys. Okay. So oftentimes we'll employ blends of different grains. Canada's actually really well known for incorporating rye into our whiskeys. A few of the offerings I'm going to give you are actually 100% rye grain whiskeys.
Oh, cool. Very interesting.
Of course.
But so I'm very, very curious about this. It certainly smells nice. It smells very nice. It's got a lovely colour to it as well. Can I drink it yet?
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's got a very nice consistency to it. Really, really nice. Really smooth on the tongue, actually. Yeah, really nice, actually.
So you like it then?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting. Okay.
Nice. A little warming. I can feel it going all the way around my mouth.
Yeah. Would you like to know what it is?
Oh, please.
All right. What you're drinking here is Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye.
Very nice.
Now, this whiskey won Jim Murray's World Whiskey of the Year in 2016.
Really?
It put Canada back on the map of whiskey. I'm pretty surprised you like this, actually. I kind of was guessing you wouldn't. I'm not a huge fan myself, but you know what? It's definitely not the worst thing I've ever tried.
No, and it's not striking me like, it's not like a punch in the mouth. I'm not getting a huge amount of smoke or like really overly complex flavours, but just as a sort of like down the line, like, yep, that's definitely a nice little whiskey. Yeah, it's nice to drink.
Crown Royal, Northern Harvest. This comes from Gimli, Manitoba.
Have they thought about changing the name? Because Gimli, for a town.
I know. What about Legolas?
Yeah, much better.
He was cooler.
Yeah, or Sean Bean.
Sean Bean? Now he dies in everything.
Ah, yeah.
Dies all the time.
You should stick with Gimli then, eh?
Stick with Gimli.
Good choice, Crown Royal. Nice town.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you liked that last one.
It was nice. Very, very nice.
Time for another one.
Okay.
All right. Again, I'm not going to tell you what this is.
Straight away, it looks different. It's got a much different colour to it actually, and consistency. It's got a really nice look to it.
Mm-hmm. Nice and amber.
Yeah, I like that a lot actually. Oh wow, completely different already.
Totally.
Completely different.
Totally different nose.
Yeah. Because the last one was just like, oh yeah, this is an alcohol, this is a whiskey. I can definitely tell that.
Sure.
But this one, I'm definitely getting more from it.
It's almost got like a rubbery or like an industrial smell to it.
Yeah, it does actually. Like I was thinking of like a tire, which is an odd thing to say, but
for non-whiskey people, that sounds completely disgusting. But that's the funny thing about whiskeys is you pick up on all these weird nuances that by themselves don't sound good at all. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, they just work with a whiskey.
Can I drink?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh wow, yeah, completely different. The Crown Royal was very light, very smooth, almost not like water, but in terms of the consistency.
Yep.
This one's it's got much more body, almost like an oil. Like on my tongue, it wants to sit there a little longer.
The real question: do you like it?
I've only had a little sip.
Ah,
is that too soon to tell?
Have more.
I do. I definitely do. With the last one, I could see people saying, "Oh yeah, I have Crown Royal and Coke or whatever." But with this one,
it's a good mixer.
It's got so much more to it that it seems to stand alone as a Scotch.
Wow.
I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me because I'm about to show you what you're drinking. All right.
Whoa!
You are drinking Alberta Premium Canadian Rye Whiskey. This can only be found in Canada, so sorry to anyone international who's watching this. Yeah, this is a 100% rye grain whiskey, distilled actually right here in Calgary. As you can see, I have opted for the beautiful plastic bottle with the very convenient screw top.
Yeah, classy.
And the reason for that is because I actually don't really like this stuff myself, so I wasn't going to go and buy a big bottle.
Yeah.
I really just bought this to see what you would think of it, because like you did say, it's kind of... It's different than a Scotch because it's a rye grain. So the barley versus the rye, how does that play into it? So you actually like this stuff.
I mean, well, yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I've drunk a fair bit of Scotch in my time, but what I tend to do is just have a bottle, then work my way through it.
Yeah.
I don't like spread myself over a collection. So when it comes to something like this, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could definitely see myself just drinking that.
Right.
And if someone brought me that over to sit and watch a ball game, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Fair enough. Well, you can take this home with you if you'd like.
Nice, thank you.
You bet. All right, Mo, are you ready for the third Canadian whiskey?
I'm ready.
Try?
I'm here.
I've poured you a little bit of a taster here. Curious to know your thoughts.
Okay. I've seen lots of people do this.
Yes.
This seems like a thing that we should be doing.
It's a thing. You don't want to do it too much because remember, the alcohol vapors are pretty volatile, and if you overstimulate your glass, you're actually going to lose a lot of the smells. And smell is obviously pretty imperative to your taste. When you enjoy a whiskey, you want to smell and taste it.
This doesn't have the same sort of industrial, like it's come off of a car smell as the Alberta Premium, which is nice. But it definitely looks like a whiskey, and it swirls like a whiskey.
But does it drink like a whiskey?
Well, let's give it a go. Oh wow! Even again, it's completely different. Completely different. It's got a little bit more on the back of the throat, actually, which I think is quite nice. It doesn't have that same oil feel that I got from the Alberta Premium.
Right.
It seems to have a nicer consistency. Actually, I'm enjoying this one.
Good.
Very nice.
Any particular flavors coming to mind for you?
Well, I've got a memory of a goldfish, so I'm going to have to drink some more. Sorry. No. And this is the thing, mate, that I felt really bad about, because I'm new to this, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to be tasting.
Right.
And very much like coffee, actually. The first time I came to Canada, I was going around drinking McDonald's coffee and Tim Hortons coffee and that sort of stuff. Shout out to Timmy's, by the way.
Shout out to Timmy's. You're in Canada, man.
And then I was over at a lady friend's, a special lady friend's of mine, and her dad was disgusted at me. He called it butterfly piss, which is ridiculous. So I don't see him anymore.
No.
So he had like premium coffee, like the best blends from Nicaragua and whatever else. And I was like, dude, this just tastes like coffee to me. I don't know. But I actually preferred the Timmy's. Yeah. I preferred the McDonald's. And I think with whiskey, and I feel really bad because being Scottish, I feel like I should be able to be like, oh, this was actually, if you think this was aged in the Highlands of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you brought the coffee story up, because I think, certainly with coffee and with whiskey too, anytime you have like connoisseurs who are out there, they like to really shit all over people for, you know, not having as refined of a palate or whatever. And I think that's actually harmful to someone who is like just entering their journey. Like if you genuinely want to get into whiskey and your first experience is a bad one because someone was like a total snob to you and they were like, oh, you're drinking piss. It doesn't make you feel like you want to continue learning more and exploring it, you know? And I don't think there's any need for any of that stuff. I mean, you like what you like. The guys at the Whiskey Tribe have a really great saying. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like and the way you like to drink it. So I think there's so much truth to that. If you happen to prefer the taste of something that other people don't, that's totally cool. As long as you like it, as long as you enjoy it, that's your dram. Your dram's your dram.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And the more that I've actually been able to sip on this a little bit, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I feel like a little bit like a lemon, a little bit of citrus and charcoal.
Right.
I feel like it's just got like a little smoke that's wafting through my mouth.
Right.
Which is nice. And then I've got almost like a sort of Ralgex-y, like a mouthwashy sort of sensation on my tongue, which is really, really nice. My lips are starting to tingle a little bit.
Okay, so you can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
All right. Would you like to know what this one is?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. This one might look familiar to you as a subscriber. Hit subscribe. Ring the bell. This is the J.P. Weiser's Triple Barrel Rye, which I've done a review on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no wrong answer, by the way. If you taste lemon, you taste lemon. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean someone else who doesn't taste lemon is wrong. It just means that's how you perceive the flavor of this particular bottle. Whether or not you enjoy it is completely subjective, and it does beg the question, do you enjoy this whiskey?
I enjoy this.
Okay.
I do. And I think of the three that we've tasted, I think we've gone in increments of ones I enjoy more.
Okay.
So far, this is top of the pile.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is, I mean, obviously you saw the last episode because he's a subscriber.
Diddling, 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 diddling.
Yeah. And I really like this as well. So I'm glad you do. And I'm quite honestly glad that you're enjoying this journey into what Canada has to offer in terms of whiskey.
Thank you.
It may not be Scotch, but you know, I think we're capable of making some good stuff. And on that note, are you ready to dive into another one?
Bring it.
All right. So this is the fourth Canadian whiskey I'm going to have you try.
I could say straight off the bat, actually, and I don't know how well the viewers are going to pick this up, but the colour is completely different already. It's got much more of a sort of honey amber.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit of a darker...
Sometimes when you look at a whiskey, it looks really, really thin, almost watered down.
Yeah.
But this doesn't give me that impression at all. It seems that it's full-bodied.
Full-bodied. So a lot of times when you look at a whiskey and it's got a different color, you assume like the darker it is, the older it is, or the lighter it is, the younger it is. Some companies add color, caramel color. Yes. You're not allowed to do that with bourbon.
Okay.
You're not allowed to add anything to bourbon, but in Scotch whiskey, there's like a certain amount of color that distillers are allowed to add.
Okay.
And the same is true of Canada. I don't think any of these have had color added to them. Just something to bear in mind regardless of what you're drinking. If it's dark, don't necessarily let that trick you into thinking it's an older one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes caramel color is an ingredient.
So don't judge a book by its color.
Exactly.
Thank you. All right. Can I drink yet?
Yes, please.
Do it. There's a lot going on there, Alan.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. Okay, my new number one.
Yeah?
Yeah, my new number
All
one.
right.
Yeah, definitely a lot. Wow. I don't even know what I'm feeling there. Yeah. Smoky. Very nice. Back of the throat, I'm like...
It's got some spice to it.
Yeah, it definitely does. Actually, tongue's on fire.
Right.
Like, in the most pleasant way.
Good.
Actually, very, very nice.
Yeah. It's got... Yeah, it just brings a whole wallop of flavor all at once.
It definitely. It's got a bit of a campfire feel to it.
But not a peaty. Not a peaty fire.
Yeah.
Like, completely different than, like, a Smokehead or a Le Jag or a Peat Rickers or a Mock Remoor. You can see I like smoke based on some of my collection here. Yeah, but this is not a peated whiskey.
No, and I can tell that actually because I've drank peated whiskies before, and even on the smell you're like, whoa,
yeah,
totally different, and it sort of wafts through your whole mouth. This one doesn't have that.
Yeah,
it's much more subtle, but
for sure, it's almost like a sweeter nose to it.
Yeah,
and
definitely
some spice on the palate.
That's very nice.
Do you want to know what you're drinking?
Oh, please.
I am really excited to tell you about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so I'm glad you said this is your number one, because this is actually, in all the whiskeys I've ever tried, this ranks within my top 5 for sure.
Wow.
What you are drinking here is lot number 40 Cask Strength Rye. It's 11 years old. So the color you're seeing in this case is most likely because it was sitting in a barrel for 11 years.
Right, okay.
100% rye grain. And the cask strength, which means, what is the ABV on this? 58.4% alcohol by volume.
Wow.
So it's a strong one, right?
Wow.
That is almost 60%, almost 120 proof. And that's where you're getting a lot of that kick, that flavor. In my video about Port Escag 100 proof, I made reference to the alcohol level being kind of like a volume knob with flavor, right? The higher that ABV, the louder the flavor.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, is what makes this whiskey just so damn good.
Yeah, and the volume knobs, it's a great analogy because, you know, this isn't turned up to 11 for me, but it's definitely like, okay, we're driving along, let's get a little bit of something going here.
Yeah.
You're getting into the groove of this.
Yes.
Really, really nice.
This is from the Hiram Walker Distillery. The same distillery, actually, who is responsible for the J.P. Weisers you previously had. They have a few different brands under their label. And every year they come out with something called the Northern Border Collection, which is like a special release from a few of their brands. And this one is from, I believe, 2018.
Okay.
Limited release, very limited. I think there were only 4,020 bottles made. So this
and
one...
you have one?
I have 4.
You have...
I really like this stuff.
Yeah, I can tell. It's bloody delicious.
Yeah. I think Alberta might be the last place you can even find it. So every time I see a bottle, I buy it because I'm never going to be able to have this
Wow.
again.
I mean, I've heard of the other ones. I've heard of Crown Royal, JP Weisers. Alberta Premium was new to me, but this, never heard of.
I don't know how prevalent Lot 40 as a brand is. This is a special release, obviously.
Yeah.
They came out with another one last year. It doesn't have an age statement.
Okay.
But it's also a cask strength release. I haven't tried that one yet. I've heard it's not quite as good as this one.
Okay.
But I mean, for my money, and really this is my money.
Yeah.
Because it's all my collection.
Yeah.
This is in my top 5 of any whiskey I've ever tried in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and that's,
Wow.
I've been to Scotland. I've pulled whiskey straight from a barrel, you know, and this is up there with it. So this stuff, I'm really glad you like it because this.
It really,
immaculate.
delicious. I'm going to finish this.
Good. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
If I keep talking in that accent, it won't stop.
Put
Put this in your wee mouth.
Whiskey number 5.
This is, yes, whiskey number 5.
Is this what Lou Bega was leading us to all these years later?
I think he was just naming off all the lassies he's been with.
Yeah.
A little bit of Monica in my life.
A little bit of JP Weiser's. Doesn't go.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't go.
Sorry.
Right, so... Whoa. I feel like I'm getting drunk off fumes.
Are you? It's got some astringency to it.
That's intense. That's the most intense one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
More than Lot 40, our fourth whiskey?
Yeah, which was delish. Absolutely delish. I'm not getting the sense of any burning rubber.
Okay.
I'm not getting a huge amount of like smoke, like the classic noses, if you like. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Definitely is. In terms of the colour, it's lovely. Again, nice, thick, deep sort of amber honey.
Yep.
I like that a lot. It looks fantastic. Can I drink it?
Please.
Yes.
It's the best part.
It is. I like how you did this. This one's come up through my nose. Oh, that's very nice. It's very thin in terms of like an actual liquid.
Right.
I think I was surprised with that because the other ones I've had, I felt I've coated my tongue having almost like an oil.
Right, more oily.
To them, yeah, like a little thicker consistency. This is still thin, but my tongue is loving this. That's what she said. Oh, I don't even know how to critique this. I'm overwhelmed.
You don't need to critique it so much as just, do you like it?
I definitely like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, really. And I'm starting to think, although you surprised me with a Lot 40, I think that you're just doing this. You're leading me up to the top of the hill in terms of your favourites, but I don't know how I can top. I don't know how a Canadian whiskey, no offence, can top a Lot 40 if that's in your top 5. But it's very, very nice.
Do you want to know what this is that you're drinking?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is a special one to me. This is JP Weiser, again.
Wow.
35-year-old. This is a 35-year-old age statement in this whiskey.
I've never, in my own 33 years of life, drank a whiskey this old.
Yes, that's why I bought it. It's wow. It's very difficult, especially with Scotch whiskey, to find a whiskey that is older than you that is affordable. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was born in 84.
Right.
Most of the 84s that I see that I want are like $1,200 Canadian. You know?
Wow.
I need a raise.
Yeah. Can I hold it?
Yes, please. This is one of my prized possessions, so don't drop it.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that you thought I was maybe like trying to ramp up like in terms of like what I thought you would like. That was unintentional. I want you to know it wasn't unintentional.
This is fantastic.
It's good. Now, I'll admit fully, I like the Lot 40 a lot more.
Okay. Right.
Personally. This is a good whiskey.
Yeah.
I bought it for the age statement and didn't expect anything out of it. And was pleasantly surprised. It was better than I thought. It's bottled at 50% alcohol, so it's the fact that you said it's kind of a thinner mouthfeel was a little bit surprising to me. But I guess coming off of the Lot 40, which was almost 60%, I could see how this is a bit of a lesser feeling.
Yeah.
Did you know JP Weiser is Canada's oldest continuously running distillery?
I did not know that.
Now you do.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know what you'll do with that information, but...
I'm still just blown away by the 35-year-old.
Yes.
And the fact, I mean, yes, YouTube flew me over.
Yes, YouTube.
Yes, YouTube paid for the flights.
For sure.
But for you to splash out on a 35-year-old, for someone like me who is a self-confessed noob...
I wanted you to try the best that Canada has to offer from my collection. I can't vouch for everything else that's out there, but from my collection... This is on the top of my top shelves. You know, this is a really special bottle for me, and that's why I've barely had any. This is the second time I've tasted it.
Oh wow!
Since I bought it, so
I'm so privileged.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You flew across the ocean to be on my channel exclusively for no other reason at all.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You are plying me a little bit with whiskey, so it's a little give and take.
For sure.
But wow, I mean that's nice. I can totally see the differences in terms of the Lot 40 and the JP 35.
Yeah.
I can understand why you would like the Lot 40 as well. But that's an enjoyable whiskey. That is.
This is. It's very complex.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put into words. I've got lots of warmth ruminating around. I've got lots of little zing. I mean, those are words.
So I don't know what the mash bill is on this. Do you know what mash bill means?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mash bill is basically what the formulation of grains that went into a whiskey. So remember I was saying Canadian whiskeys don't necessarily have to be made of barley. It just so happens that a lot of Canadian whiskey is very rye forward.
Yes.
There's a lot of rye in it, and you can certainly taste the rye. There's some rye spice coming out of this. There is also a very Canadian flavor profile. Whereas I find the Lot 40 doesn't necessarily, like, you wouldn't taste that and think, this is from Canada for sure.
No, and I didn't. And I felt like almost like a real punch in the mouth in terms of like what was going on. Yeah. This is really, really complex, but it does have that sort of general same feel as the other ones. Obviously, it's aged, and it's got much more rich colour, etc., etc. But you know, I agree. The Lot 40 did have a different flavour profile for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of a standout, and maybe that's why it's a limited edition small batch run. But yeah, I mean, from what I've had you taste so far today, this is my second favorite. I don't want to taint.
I like that.
I don't want to taint your ratings though. Where do we stack up here? You've had the Alberta Premium.
Yep.
You've had the Northern Harvest Rye. That was the first one, actually.
That was the first one. Yeah.
Northern Harvest Rye. Yeah. Alberta Premium, followed up by the Wiser's Triple Barrel Rye. Lot 40.
Lot 40.
Lot 40. Baby. Cask strength, 11 year. And then this, the JP Wiser's 35-year-old whiskey.
Wow. I have to say, I put this second as well.
Second, okay.
Yeah. It was going from Crown Royal, Alberta Premium, JP Wiser's, Lot 40, 35.
Right, okay. You know? And I'm about the same way there.
Yeah.
So, I do have a bonus whiskey if you'd like.
Bonus
whiskey. He
He
really likes the theme song.
Bonus. I'm on about bonus.
I'm going to rinse out the glasses because that's the thing you should always do when you're tasting whiskeys.
Okay.
All right, Mo. So we've tried 5 different whiskeys. I do have a bonus 6th whiskey for you.
What an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's been good. This one is called Laird of Fintry. This is a very small batch.
You're not messing about. You're not even letting me taste in it. You're showing me straight away. I'm
showing you straight away only because this isn't widely available. In fact, I had to enter a lottery even to get the opportunity to buy this bottle. Small batch. It's made by the Okanogan Spirits Craft Distillery, so it's not like a widespread thing. It's a craft distillation product.
I thought Okanogan only did wine.
It's a wine producing region for sure, but this distillery is kind of a cool one. I went there over the summer and tried their whiskeys, and they gave me a bunch of absinthe and stuff. I basically walked in off the street, chatted their ear off, and it was a good time. So, Okanogan Spirits Distillery. Are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely, but this is the first time of the whiskies we've tried, and I don't know why this is, but this is the first time that I'm like, whoa, that's caramel.
So, do you know why that is? All the other whiskeys we've tried, they've had at least a lot of rye in them, whereas this is a single malt. That is something that you see a lot in Scotland with Scotch because it's a single malted barley product.
Yeah.
So this is a 100% barley whiskey, just like they make back home in Scotland for you, except this happens to be made in the Okanogan.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it smells incredible. Definitely, like I say, caramel, lots of vanilla, I think, actually. But with some other whiskies, you're like, yeah, that's alcohol. Like, all you're smelling is like a vapor of alcohol. But this actually has got so much more going on. I really hope it tastes...
Yeah, it's only 42% alcohol by volume. So it's not 40, which is like the bare minimum legal limit, but 42. So it's a little bit diluted when they put it into the bottle.
Can I drink it?
Yeah. I get chocolate on the nose.
I'm definitely tasting vanillas and caramels. I'm not getting a punch in the mouth.
Yeah.
In terms of the alcohol or the smoke or anything like that. It's nice and warming. It just tastes really nice. It's got a completely different profile from any of the other ones that we've tasted.
Yeah. And that's because there's not really any rye in this at all. Whereas the other ones for sure had rye. All of them they were either 100% rye or they were very rye forward with their mash bill.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas again, this is just barley that's malted and produced in Canada as opposed to Scotland.
Oh, it's very interesting anyway.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a lottery for a purchase.
Yeah. You basically enter. They only make so much per year, and it's in pretty high demand. So you have to win the lottery even to get the opportunity to buy it.
Wow.
And I know a few people who have tried many years over to win it and haven't been. So I feel fortunate to be able to have 2 of these little guys. They're not very big, but I bought 2, which equals, the same volume as a large bottle, basically. But I'm glad I get to share it with you because it's something you've definitely never tried before.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, and if I was to rate them all,
not
that my rating really counts for anything.
Your rating matters a lot.
I feel like you took me right up to the top of the hill with lot 40, and then we've slowly gone down a little bit. But like, this is still up there.
Yeah.
With the JP Weiser's 35, which is delicious. I do agree. Actually, the lot 40 had the most going on, and for it to be a Canadian, a full rye whiskey, is super interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
So would you say that I've changed your mind, your opinion on what a Canadian whiskey can be?
Absolutely.
Should be?
Yeah. Because for me, there wasn't a Canadian whiskey. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
If anything, it was mixers.
Yeah.
Much along the lines of like a sort of
brown vodka is the derogatory
like
term
a Jack
for
Daniels or Fireball.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it was. That's what Canadian whiskey was to me. It didn't actually have a character of its own or a history of its own, and I know that's one of the reasons why Scotch whiskey is so appealing to a lot of people. Is you get to go visit the distillers and know the history, and being Scottish, they go back hundreds of years using the same processes, same principles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Canada's a relatively new country, so I didn't think that I had this, but wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm really, really blown away.
Yeah, I'm glad. I honestly expected you to hate a lot of them, so the fact that you didn't surprises me, and maybe it'll surprise some of our viewers here. But it kind of makes me proud too, in a sense, because as a Canadian who loves whiskey, it's nice to know that we can at least produce stuff here that can stand up on its own. And if 2016 proved anything with Jim Murray's review of the Northern Harvest Rye, and obviously Oak and Age is way more important than Jim Murray.
Yes,
like
Jim who?
Yeah, exactly. Oak and Age. Remember the name.
Oak and Age.
I think that means our production assistant is telling us we need to wrap it up because our battery's about to die. So thank you so much for flying across the pond to be here and let me get you inebriated with all of my favorite whiskeys. Well, all of my favorite Canadian whiskeys anyway.
Canadian whiskeys, yeah.
And some of my not so favorite Canadian whiskeys even. Everyone can find me on Oak and Age on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing me over. Wow. What a great day. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been fun. What do they have to do?
They have to hit like, I think.
Well, no, they smash the like button.
Fuck. I knew I got that wrong. Smash the like button.
The like button.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
That's a big one. And share to all your family and friends.
That's probably the biggest one. Honestly, I'm trying to grow this channel, and in order to do that, I need people to actually watch the content that we work really hard to produce. So, smashing the like button's great, but honestly, sharing and commenting, letting me know what you think and you know what we can do better, what you want to see this channel come up with. That's really helpful to us. So thanks once again, my brother.
You're welcome, my man.
Coming across the pond and buy Canadian whiskey. Do not drink and drive. Consume your alcohol responsibly.
Like
Cheers.
me.
That's right. He's not driving anywhere.
At the end of the video, we could go, yep, so he's absolutely useless.